Since the Grizzlies basically kicked him off the team, I let Dillon Brooks decide what team he wanted to join in 2K, and he chose the Pelicans. But the Pelicans are in for a big surprise. You see, when he was with the Grizzlies over this past season, he averaged a technical foul about every 4 games. So in this video, every 4 games, Dillon Brooks overall is going to go up by 1. That means by about halfway through the season, with 53 games played, he is going to be over a 90 overall. The Pelicans might have a new super team on their hands, since they already have Zion and Brandon Ingram and good role players like Herb Jones. They also picked up Russell Westbrook. Going into the playoffs, Dillon Brooks is going to be a 99 overall, and they still have him under contract for another 2 seasons after this. Let's see if Dillon Brooks can make a playoff run as the leader of this New Orleans Pelicans team. In round 1, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're a notoriously good 2K team, and Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards progressed so well in this, so this might be a tough matchup. They take game 1, but we're able to bounce back and take game 2. Ultimately, it's a back-and-forth series going into a pivotal game 5, and Dillon Brooks is doing everything he can, putting up some huge numbers for the Pelicans. Unfortunately, those turnover numbers are also huge. 5 a game is crazy, but we're up 3-2 in the series, and we get out of there in 6, so it looks like the turnovers don't even really matter. In the final game, he only had 1 of them, and we're moving on to face the 8-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder, who upset the number 1 seed Nuggets. Let's see if we can take them out. Ultimately, we're headed to a winner-go-home Game 7. With our season on the line, we come out and play really well in the first quarter. Unfortunately, we slow down a bit, but ultimately we pick it back up in the third and end up winning by 9 points. Dillon Brooks with 24 and 12, and Brandon Ingram pitched in 30. We're moving on to the conference finals, so already we're seeing the Dillon Brooks effect, man. We have a chance to make the NBA Finals if we can beat the Warriors, who it looks like they traded Klay Thompson for Anthony Simons, which is kind of crazy, but let's see if we can beat them. They're up 2-0 in the series, and with the backcourt of Steph and Anthony Simons and the progression of Jonathan Kuminga, I'm not going to lie, their team looked really nice, so ultimately we end up losing, and of course, the Atlanta Hawks win the NBA championship. Now we're going to boost Dillon Brooks up to a max overall, and we're going to give him the highest possible shot tendency, highest possible touch tendency, and over the offseason, he developed a ton of badges. So this might be the Dillon Brooks Revenge Tour. Let's see if this year we can get to the finals and win an NBA championship with an absolutely stacked squad. I mean, I feel like with this team, we should definitely make a deep playoff run. We're going to move Dillon Brooks to the point guard because I'd like Brandon Ingram to be starting on the team considering he's our 3rd best player. Unfortunately, there's no Team Dillon, but he was selected to the All-Star team. Ignore it saying 2-time All-Star. Y'all know 2K is broken. They can't tell the difference between 1 and 2. I don't know how they haven't fixed that. And we're almost at the end of the season. Like, literally, it'll be his first All-Star appearance, and they say it's his second. It makes no sense, bro. But Dillon Brooks makes all-defensive first team. No All-NBA for him yet, despite putting up some really good numbers. But you know what? We're not worried about all that. It's about the team success, man. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. We faced them last year in the second round. They did upset the 1-seeded Nuggets, so we got to watch out. We're up 2-0, though. We're not going to go out like the Nuggets. Let's be honest, bro. Okay, maybe we're going to go out like the Nuggets. It's tied up. And heading into a pivotal Game 5, I really don't want to get embarrassed by a 7 seed. Come on, Pelicans. Yeah, we're locked in. We're locked in. Oh, my goodness. They lost by like 8,000 points, bro. They only put up 95. We put up 131, winning by 36 points? Yeah, I think so. We won by 36 points, and in Game 6, they end up winning, so we're headed to a winner-go-home Game 7. Bro, if y'all lose to a 7th seed in Game 7 with this squad, I mean, that's inexcusable. Ultimately, though, we're able to get the dub. It's a big win. We win by 18 points. Dillon Brooks, 23 points on the night. Zion Williamson with 22. B.I. with 18. And we're moving on to the second round. That was a hard-fought first round, though, considering we were the second 2nd seed, and they were the 7th seed. But we've seen a lot of upsets in real life this year. It looks like Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat might make the NBA Finals. They're up 2-0 against Boston, and man, Jimmy Butler was trash talking Grant Williams. They were up in each other's face and all that. But anyway, we got the Denver Nuggets. We're up 1-0. We're up 2-0. Come on, man. 3-0. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. The Nuggets are looking like playoff frauds in 2K. They lost to the 8th seed as the 1 seed that year. We're going to go ahead and get them up and out of here. And we're moving on to the conference finals. And this is a perfect opportunity for Dillon Brooks to get revenge against his former team, the Memphis Grizzlies. Can Dillon do it, though? The Grizzlies are up 1-0. They're up 2-0. Come on, lock in, Dillon. Lock in. You can't go out like this. 3-0 is crazy. Okay, we take a game. We take 2 games. Maybe he was just playing with them. He wanted them to get up 3-0, so it'd be even more embarrassing when he came back and won. Come on, Dillon. You can't force the Game 7 just to lose here. We have done way too much work to get to this point, and the Grizzlies are up. It's really close, but ultimately in the clutch, they're able to close us out. Man, come on. Y'all might as well have just got swept because y'all just wasted your time winning 3 games in a row just to lose in this Game 7. Man, that is unfortunate. And the Atlanta Hawks get another championship. But wow, we were so close to pulling off a historical comeback. But we'll just run it back, man. Hopefully the team's got a little more dog in them this year and we can make an NBA Finals run. We've been really close. We've been knocking on the door of the finals. Hopefully this year is going to be our year. And Dillon Brooks made All-NBA. He's on All-NBA 3rd. And no All-Defense for him this year, though, which is kind of weird. We go 56-26 on the season. Another really good year for Mr. Dillon Brooks. And in round 1, we've got our chance to get revenge. A W script by the NBA. We beat the Memphis Grizzlies this season after last year almost pulling off that 3-0 comeback. Dillon Brooks is able to get revenge against his former team. Now we have our regularly scheduled programming, a matchup with the Thunder. We face them like every year. This time we get swept, though. They continue to progress and get better, so they're definitely becoming a force in this simulation. And Dillon Brooks has a chance to move on to a new team, and ultimately he decides to. I liked what we had going in New Orleans, but we really weren't winning anything, so Dillon Brooks decided to go to the Golden State Warriors, where he's teaming up with Anthony Simons and also Jonathan Kuminga. And in Golden State, Dillon Brooks was ready to shine. He was the all-star captain this season, and he's putting up some really good numbers, the best numbers of his career. And by the end of the season, we were really successful. 52 wins. Ja Morant of Dillon Brooks' former team was named the MVP, and Cade Cunningham is a 6th man in Detroit, which is wild. It seems like the Pistons are able to build some really good teams in these simulations, but Dillon Brooks, man, the defensive player of the year, and Max Christie, Laker legend Max Christie, man, he's the most improved player here in Golden State, so that's good to see. Dillon Brooks is All-NBA first team this season, so we're really seeing some improvement from him, and he's not playing alongside another big star in Zion Williamson. He's got Anthony Simons and Kuminga, but I would say they're not as good as Zion, so this year we actually are facing Zion, and we end up beating them in just 4 games. Now we got the Houston Rockets, and it looks like the Rockets are giving us some more comp. We're down 3-1 in the series, and ultimately we end up losing in 6. An unfortunate way to go out as the number 1 seed. Losing in the second round is not exactly what I envisioned for this team. Ultimately, though, we can run it back another season with the same core, and hopefully we'll see a different result. It was another really good regular season with 51 wins, but at this point, year after year, we're seeing Dillon Brooks-led teams fizzle out in the playoffs. He was the Defensive Player of the Year once again, and that's great to see, but we don't really care about all these awards. I'm trying to see some playoff success from Dillon Brooks. Round 1 against the Thunder, we get cooked. Like, what is going on, man? We're putting together these great seasons, but ultimately it's all for nothing as the Cavs get another championship. Same team that Dillon Brooks is running with, and it was another unsuccessful season that unfortunately I lost the footage for, but trust me, we ended up losing. So, yeah, Dillon Brooks decided to leave the team and join the Los Angeles Lakers. It's kind of a crazy plot twist when you think about it because, of course, Dillon Brooks had the whole beef with LeBron, but here he is in LA with Lonzo Ball having probably the best season, at least team-wise, of his career and individually as well, as he is the most valuable player in the NBA. All right, Dillon, the MVP award is cool and all that. That's cute, but what we're trying to see is an NBA championship. You could put the little trophy in your award case right next to your MVP. This would be a legendary season, winning the MVP and getting the championship in the same year. And Dillon Brooks, he's got some good help. We ended up picking up Jalen Duren, so that was a huge pickup for us. He's a really good player in 2K, man. 20 points per game on a minimum contract is huge. And of course, we've also got Lonzo Ball, great defensive player. And in the first round, we got San Antonio. They're up 2-1 in the series. We tie it up at 2 apiece. We end up getting up 3-2. Come on, man. We're not really going to lose to the 8 seed in the first round after you win the MVP. That's absolutely terrible. We can't go out like this. But the Spurs, they're really fighting in this one. It seems like they wanted more. They got a little bit more dog in them. And they beat us by 6 points in Game 7. And Dillon Brooks, man, come on. We need like a 40 ball from you for your team to advance to the next round. I mean, the Spurs, they had Luka, KP, and Jalen Brunson. What are y'all, the Dallas Mavericks? Like, what is going on? Another Texas team basically just bringing all the Dallas Mavericks players onto their team. I don't know, man. It's unfortunate we ended up losing like that, though. J.P. Bowman seems like he's progressing well for us, and with his progression, considering we had a really good year last year, hopefully this can be another good season for us. And Dillon Brooks, I also moved him to small forward because he's playing alongside a point guard and Lonzo Ball. Evan Mobley is the most valuable player of the league, and Dillon Brooks, defensive player of the year. It seems like he's stacking up quite a few of those for us. Ultimately, no All-NBA first team, but he is on the second team for us this season. And we head into the playoffs again after another great regular season. It seems like Dillon Brooks' teams have consistently been really good in the regular season, but just haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs. This year, we picked up Johnny Davis on a minimum, and he was really good. He's an 85 overall, averaging over 17 points per game, so that was a really good pickup. And now we're facing the Houston Rockets in the first round. I believe we lost to them in the past, but that might have been when Brooks was with the Warriors. And the Rockets have 99 overall Anthony Edwards, so I'm kind of scared, man. And ultimately, we end up beating them in 7 games. I probably should have slowed down the simulation, but we win by 15 points in this Game 7. Dillon Brooks ups his play for the NBA playoffs, and that's exactly what I'm trying to see from Dillon. Tyrese Halliburton is back in Sacramento. Can he go ahead and knock us off in the playoffs? Ultimately, we're up 2-0. They take a game. They're not about to go down without a fight as they tie up the series at 2-2, get up 3-2, and we're headed to a Game 7. We got off to a great start of this series, but really we slowed it down. Hopefully in this Game 7, we're able to close it out, and ultimately we are Dillon Brooks, playoff Dillon. Oh, okay, maybe not. Only 14 points from Dillon Brooks, but Johnny Davis drops 27, and we win the game. We're moving on to face Dillon's former team, the Pelicans. They look much different now with Paolo Banchero, Dyson Daniels, and Jared Allen. And in game number 1, we win. Come on, Dillon. Let's make the finals 2-0. Okay, the Pelicans take a game. They take 2 games. We got to make the finals. We're up 3-2. And Dillon Brooks is moving on to the NBA Finals against Cade Cunningham and the Milwaukee Bucks. This Bucks team is really good with Jabari Smith Jr. and Jalen Green, I guess both deciding, you know what, we're leaving the Rockets and going to Milwaukee. They take game 1. We take game 2. Come on, lock in. We're down 2-1. We're down 3-1. Come on, man. And we lose in 5. Dillon Brooks' first ever finals appearance is a loss in just 5 games. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I have been putting Dillon Brooks overall back up if he regresses, because remember, the concept of the video is basically like every technical foul equals +1 upgrade, and trust me, Dillon Brooks has probably been getting plenty of these technical fouls throughout the seasons, because if you remember, he averaged a technical foul about every 4 games in real life, so I just upgraded him back so that he can continue to play at a really high level. Anyways, speaking of playing at a high level, it looks like he wasn't doing that. No All NBA, no All Defense for Dillon this year. Kind of unfortunate to see, but ultimately he still led the team in scoring. JP Moman was really good. Davion Mitchell was good for us. We've got a lot of good defense on this team with like Davion, Alonzo, and then we've also got Dillon Brooks. In round 1, we've got Dillon's former team who we beat in 7. Let's go, Dillon, man. We're able to win by 5 points in this game 7, 30 points from Dillon Brooks as we advance. And JP Bowman, man, he's been really good for us. A great second player to go next to Dillon Brooks, but he's averaging right around the same scoring numbers as Dillon. And we've got the number 1 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. It seems like the Thunder are always in the mix in these, but, you know, we're kind of cooking them early on. We're up 3-1 in the series. We get out of there in 5, and now we're facing the Golden State Warriors, another former Dillon Brooks team, and they look a lot better, man. Maybe Dillon should have stayed there, but they probably wouldn't have the cap space to pick up those players if Dillon Brooks would have stayed. Series is tied up at 1-1. We take a 2-1 lead. We take a 3-1 lead. Let's get back to the finals, man. The voice cracks have been crazy, but we're here. We're back in the finals. We're facing the Miami Heat, and the Heat have Devin Booker and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Shannon Wesley and Isaiah Jackson and Derek Wood. This team is ridiculous, bro. I'm not going to lie. We might end up losing to this roster. They look much better than us. They take the first game, but we take the second. It looks like we got a little fight in us. They're up 2-1. Okay, maybe we don't have any fight in us. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Game number 6. This is a pivotal game. If we win, we end up advancing to a game 7. If we lose, our season is over. And in the third quarter, the Heat are pulling away. In the fourth, the Heat are pulling away, and they win by 11 points. Oh my goodness, what happened, Dillon? Dillon Brooks sold in this one, man. Season on the line, and he sold. Shannon Wesley is the finals MVP. Dillon Brooks is starting to get worse, but you know what? We're not having that. It's time for the Dillon Brooks just revenge season. 99 in every stat. We're giving you every single badge too, Dillon. We're not trying to see you like regress at this point, bro. I want to see you hoop. So now you're going to be a 99 overall. Let's go ahead and get it, man. MVP. Let's get this championship, Dillon. You're getting old. You got a couple years left at most, probably. You might end up retiring soon. So we need to see you get this chip. All NBA first, of course, because, you know, he was also the MVP. And we are here as the 2nd seed in the playoffs. But that doesn't even matter, bro. I don't even care about all that. All that matters at this point is trying to get this NBA championship. We've got a solid roster. THT and Lonzo, along with JP Bowman, have been around for quite some time now. And in round 1 against the Timberwolves, we end up losing to the 7th seed. I don't know what's going on with Dillon Brooks, man. It's just not looking good. Well, we might have a couple more years in us, and it looks like he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers have been good, so I see why he would do that. And I mean, to give him his props, he has been on really good regular season teams year after year, but it's really just about getting that playoff success, as I've said many times. He's the most valuable player once again this season. We don't even care about all that. DBOI, whatever, man. You got plenty of those awards, but you know what? That ring would hit different at this point. We're the number 1 seed, 59-23 on the season, and Dillon Brooks, of course, led the team in scoring, but we also had this guy, Herb Swift, who dropped 16 points one time. He played one game, dropped 16 on terrible efficiency. I thought he was like a real hooper for us, considering he averaged 16, but it was because he played that one game. We also picked up Denny Avdia. He's an 87 overall, so we need to make the most of this opportunity, and we don't. We lose to Dillon's former team, the New Orleans Pelicans, man. We've been getting absolutely cooked year after year. In Game 7, Dillon Brooks tried everything he could. He said he's going to retire, and honestly, I don't blame you at this point. Year after year of playoff disappointments, and yeah, Dillon Brooks is going to call it a career, man. Lonzo Ball does as well. So just an end of an era with the Lakers, the Lonzo Ball and Dillon Brooks era. Also, JP Bowman was hooping, THT was there, but a really good resume for Dillon, just no ring. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.